Welcome back everyone, it's Charlie. This will be my full Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse Cinemacon trailer video. They brought a bunch of new footage, so we will break it all down. There's a bunch of Easter eggs, references, and some things that they changed from the original ending of Across the Spider-Verse. This was all part of Sony's larger Cinemacon presentation. I've already done videos for the Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer that they released and for the Avengers Doomsday Marvel panel, so I'll link those at the end of this. At the panel, Lord and Miller said, "Welcome to the final chapter of Miles' story," but that's just in the Spider-Verse animated movies. Amy Pascal, the lead producer on all the big Spider-Man movies, already confirmed that they are working on a live-action Miles Morales movie, but they're not going to do it till after Beyond the Spider-Verse. And because Beyond the Spider-Verse is coming out about 6 months before Avengers Secret Wars, I know there's also questions about whether or not Kevin Feige is going to cameo a live-action version of Miles Morales, or even an animated version of Miles Morales in Secret Wars. But even though they are transitioning Miles Morales in general as a character to live-action Sony movies, it'll be on Sony's side. Sony will make the movies, not Marvel MCU people. It is not meant to be the complete end of the animated Spider-Verse movies. I believe they're also working on some spin-offs for that too. And for those of you asking why Sony didn't do a presentation or new footage for Spider-Man Noir, the live-action Nicolas Cage TV series that I'll be doing episodes for later this year, Lord and Miller actually made that at Amazon, and it's only going to be on Amazon, and Cinemacon is all about theatrical presentations. So there were a number of really big projects that are coming this year that are going to be streaming only that didn't get special presentations or brand new trailers during Cinemacon. But all the new Beyond the Spider-Verse trailer footage they showed off was in 1:43:1 IMAX aspect ratio. Lord and Miller made a really big deal about this too. They made the movie with IMAX specifically in mind, but they also cut versions for smaller theaters. So if you don't have an IMAX theater nearby, you'll still be able to see the movie like everybody else, but you will be missing some of the picture. So if you want to get like the full experience, you do need to see it in IMAX. Christopher Nolan is famous for stuff like this. He actually had IMAX create special cameras just for his Odyssey movie, which features a lot of Spider-Man actors, Tom Holland, Zendaya, and the Punisher John Bernthal reuniting before they show up in Brand New Day together. But the brand new footage actually starts with the opening scene of Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse, and it's a slightly different version of the ending scene from Across the Spider-Verse with a bunch of extra stuff that they added in. The very first scene picks up with our Miles winding up on Earth 42, realizing that it looks different, everything is different. It's coated more purples, more greens in the background. He starts to see all the Universe 42 Sinister Six cartel Easter eggs around. I'll talk about them in a second too, because they rule this planet. So all the superheroes that you would normally see on his original Earth are now more like anti-heroes, just way more hardcore people, just trying to survive. Miles got sent to the Universe 42 by accident because the spider that bit him, spider number 42, was from Miles G. Morales' universe and was meant to bite him, the Prowler Miles, before the Spot, while still in human form working at Alchemax for Kingpin on the Super Collider, brought that spider to the 1610 universe and it bit our Miles, making him a version of Spider-Man. So the whole time, the other version of Miles, the Prowler Miles, was meant to become Spider-Man. This is also the reason why Miguel O'Hara was after our Miles in the Spider Society, because they thought that Miles' existence was threatening the stability of the multiverse, the web of life and destiny, and all of reality would start to unravel unless they got rid of Miles. And obviously he didn't want to die, and he wanted to save his father, which they also said was another canon event. A police captain in each universe usually winds up dying, sacrificing himself, and Miles' father was the variant of Captain Stacy Gwen's father. Usually it's a variant of Gwen Stacy's father. But in a couple universes, like Miles G. Morales, Earth 42, and our Miles' universe, it was their father. So Miles, running from Miguel O'Hara and the Spider Society, jumps into the transportation device, and it's meant to send you to your universe of origin based on your DNA, and the Earth 42 spider from Miles G. Morales' universe had mutated his DNA, so the machine thought that he was from Universe 42, and that's why it dumps him there. Leading to the events at the end of Across the Spider-Verse with Prowler Miles, and now at the very beginning, like the opening scene of Beyond the Spider-Verse, with some changes. As the opening scene continues, our Miles starts to notice some of the differences around. He sees the mural to his father, who is dead in this universe because of the Sinister Six cartel. There are a number of other Easter eggs across this Earth. There's Vulture Telecom, Electronics for Electro, who also operates a phone company. There's a Hammerhead logo. Scorpion's logo looks kind of like a Samsung parody, so a tech company. Dr. Octopus, Mysterio, in Sandman. That's actually 7 characters, so maybe one of those villains isn't actually on the Sinister Six cartel team, they just own large businesses. But we will probably see more of them during the actual movie. Then this is where we saw more changes from the end of Across the Spider-Verse. Miles realizes there's no Spider-Man here as he gets punched by Prowler Miles. Then while he's tied up to the bag, he says, "Please, I don't belong here. I have an Uncle Aaron too. I had one because he died." He remembers Peter B. Parker's voice telling him that his Uncle Aaron wasn't someone that he could trust. He's a bad guy working for Kingpin. So while this longer version of the scene is going on, they mix in footage from the previous movies to highlight references that they're making. Then he tells the other Aaron, "Trust me, I know you don't want to be the Prowler," and Aaron tells him he's not the Prowler, and Miles G. Morales enters from above in his Prowler suit. Prowler Miles sees him with his heat vision, and the colors are red and blue coded, which is a callback to Into the Spider-Verse, where his original Peter Parker, before he died, saw him with his Spidey sense and sensed him in green and purple first, then the color shifted to red and blue to denote that he was going to eventually be bitten by a spider from a green and purple coded universe, the colors of Earth 42, and the bite would turn him into another Spider-Man, while the colors shifted to blue and red, classic Spider-Man colors. So way back during Into the Spider-Verse, Lord and Miller already had a plan to pay off this other Earth 42 universe with the other version of Miles that was coded in different colors. Aaron tosses Prowler Miles his gauntlet, and this is one of the big changes they made from the original ending from Across the Spider-Verse. Instead of Miles trying to tell Prowler Miles about their father, they skip that completely and start to introduce each other and have a couple of funny moments and banter between the two of them. Miles asks, "Who are you?" and Prowler Miles says, "I'm Miles Morales," and then they break into funny jokes about how to pronounce Morales, with Prowler Miles telling him, "You don't even know how to actually pronounce our name," and our Miles saying, "Sorry, I got a B in Spanish," which is meant to be a callback to the beginning of Across the Spider-Verse during his parent-teacher conference when his mother almost had a seizure when his counselor told her about Miles's B in Spanish because she is Puerto Rican. Prowler Miles is voiced by another actor too, mostly to help you distinguish who is who when you can't see their faces. They also have different haircuts, like I said, different accents, and Prowler Miles has way more scars on his face from fighting. Miles interrupts his insults and says, "I just want to go home," and Prowler asks him, "Why do you look like me?" Our Miles says, "Why are you so different now?" Prowler replies, "Why are you wearing my favorite jacket over that messed up leotard," making fun of his Spider-Man suit. Our Miles asks him, "Why are you a bad guy?" Prowler then jokingly asks him if he's bleeding from his armpits, like, "What is this?" Which is another callback to Across the Spider-Verse when Spider-Punk, then Peter B. Parker, both saw his new Spider-Man suit and asked him the same thing about bleeding from the armpits because of the red stripes through his armpits. The whole reason why he was wearing Miles G. Morales' jacket is because when he ended up in his bedroom, he believed that he was still in his own universe. He wasn't sure what was going on, and he hadn't told his mother that he was Spider-Man yet, and he was wearing the costume, wanted to hide it from her before he completely figured everything out about the wrong universe. And in his haste to hide his Spider-Man suit, didn't notice that the jacket was wrong colors. It was purple, coded for Prowler. Our Miles then tells him, "My dad is going to die in 2 days," and Prowler asks him, "How do you know exactly the day your dad is going to die?" He says, "You won't understand," and then he replies, "Try me." Our Miles then launches into the similar multiverse explainer about the web and life and destiny in canon events that Miguel O'Hara gave him during Across the Spider-Verse. Prowler Miles jokes, "Okay, you tried," calling his explanation bad, and then Miles says, "Something bad happens to people like me and you over and over again in every universe. A police captain who's close to Spider-Man dies saving a kid from falling," and then Prowler says, "You know how dumb that sounds, right?"
A police captain close to Spider-Man dies, saving a kid from falling rubble during a battle with an arch-nemesis.
While this is going on, they start to show pictures of that original Web of Life and Destiny explainer, the one with the original Gil Kane comic book artwork from Amazing Spider-Man number 90, where Captain Stacy saves a child, sacrificing himself, who in the context of the movie was a variant of Gwen Stacy's father, Captain Stacy. Like I said, in every universe there is a police captain, mostly Gwen Stacy's father's variants, but in both of the Miles Morales' universes, it was their father. Aaron then asked them, "What the hell is a Spider-Man?" confirming that there has never been a version of Spider-Man on Earth 42. Originally, it would have been Miles G. Morales, then he became the Prowler instead. R. Miles answers him by saying Spider-Man is a superhero, and Prowler says that sounds even dumber because the Earth that they live on is so pessimistic, like it's a darkest timeline situation with the Sinister Six basically ruling the planet. Miles then starts glitching again because he's in the wrong universe. It starts to freak Prowler and Aaron out, asking him, "Why are you doing that? Why are you glitching out?" Miles tells them, "I don't know what my lightning will do to you. I don't want to hurt you." And Prowler taunts him, saying, "Hurt us? You heard that?" as if he doesn't believe that R. Miles could actually do anything to escape. Tells him, "You're pretty mouthy for a guy chained to a bag," and Miles pulls his Peter B. Parker trick, remembering the events of Into the Spider-Verse, saying, "You know what they say, don't watch the mouth, watch the hands." And Miles uses his shock ability and the glitching to free himself. Zaps both Prowler and Aaron, and then makes a break for it. Then they launch into a big montage of a bunch of different new scenes from across the rest of the movie. Some of these they have released online already, so just going through all the different ones. We get a scene of Miguel O'Hara, who seems like he has Miles Morales dead to rights, and notice the colors here, this is actually really important. It kind of seems like they're in the middle of going through a portal. The blackness around them also looks kind of like the black that's coming off the spot too, like something really crazy is happening here as they go through different universes. Miles Morales' colors look more like Miguel O'Hara's colors, and Miguel O'Hara's colors look more like the spot's colors, black and white here. There's a new scene of Miles versus Prowler Miles, and I do believe that they will eventually work together after they chase each other around at the beginning of the movie, and they realize that they're both on the same team technically. We get a new scene of younger Aaron and Miles' dad. There's a purple glow, meaning that it's younger Prowler Miles in the backseat looking at them on Earth 42. And notice on the radio, zoom and enhance, they're listening to MF Doom, big shout out, may he rest in peace, who makes most people think of Doctor Doom in Avengers Doomsday when you talk about maybe Secret Wars. I know people are hoping to see some MF Doom references during those movies. I think Robert Downey Jr. has made some references to him in real life with some promo artwork, but the Russos haven't said whether or not they plan to use any MF Doom music or references in Doomsday or Secret Wars. But this scene does confirm that we will get some flashbacks for Miles G. Morales before he became the Prowler and before his father died. There was some unfinished footage of Prowler Miles training to become the Prowler with his Uncle Aaron, but it's unclear if they totally dropped this or if we'll see some of this in the final version of the movie, because Lord and Miller did say that they wiped the slate clean and completely redid a big portion of the movie when they started working on it, which is one of the reasons for so many delays to the movie coming out. So it does sound like a lot of the movie has changed from what we originally thought it was going to be when Across the Spider-Verse was coming out.
Your dad is still alive?
We get a new scene of Spider-Punk with him saying, "You're gonna save your dad, beat the Spot, and shake Miguel's whole game by yourself," joking to Miles that he's got no chance of doing this all by himself and he needs to rely on Gwen's team that she's putting together with the rest of the team in the actual scene. We also get a funny scene of Peter B. Parker handing Mayday, his daughter, to Spider-Ham saying, "Hold my baby, Ham," who says, "Gladly, but I'm all out of milk." Thanks to the boys, this week has been very big for milk. There's another new scene of the Spot with the ink from his body expanding and leaking beyond his body, saying, "I just want to be taken seriously." There's another new shot of Kingpin. Then we get another scene of Miles' mother saying, "I asked you to be tough, but you're not tough, you're strong," which is meant to be a callback to a conversation that she gave him at the beginning of Across the Spider-Verse about taking care of the little boy inside of him, which I believe they're using in the movie as more of a metaphor, like a comp, to him teaming up with Miles G. Morales and the two of them working together. Basically him realizing that Miles G. Morales, Prowler, is a good person and ultimately a superhero, and they should team up together. I know there's going to be more questions about the Spider-Verse characters cameoing during Avengers Secret Wars eventually, because that movie is coming out 6 months after Beyond the Spider-Verse comes out, so that will be the time to do a bunch of really big cameos, and the Spider-Verse movies have already tried blending live action and animation before, so there's already a template for that. Lord and Miller said that they actually tried to do more of that, like bigger versions of those scenes during Across the Spider-Verse, but it wound up getting a little too silly, so we will see if Kevin Feige tries to deal with any of that, or if he does do Spider-Verse cameos, he just makes them pure live-action versions. Part of the joke here, too, is that multiple Spider-Verse actors are also live-action MCU characters that will probably be coming back at some point in some way during Avengers Secret Wars, like Haley Steinfeld's Kate Bishop, she is also Spider-Gwen, and you have Oscar Isaac, who, Miguel O'Hara, is also Moon Knight. I don't know if Moon Knight's going to show up during Secret Wars, but he will definitely be coming back at some point eventually. There were also a lot of people asking about that whole Watcher cameo during Daredevil Born Again, if it was a Kingpin canon moment that Vanessa dies in every single universe. The whole reason why Kingpin during the Spider-Verse movies created the Super Collider was to find another universe where his wife and child were still alive, and it took him a long time to do that, because it sounds like in every single universe his wife and child are supposed to die. So was that why the Watcher showed up on Daredevil Born Again, or is it just a coincidence in the way they framed the shot and just some clever lighting? Everybody post all your reactions in the comments below if you have questions about the trailer footage or the movie in general. Also, reminder that Sony already confirmed that they are going to full-on reboot their Sony Marvel Universe with all the Spider-Man stuff separate from the MCU, so it'll be completely fresh, creative, like a new version of Venom, new version of the characters on their side of things. It is a pretty easy guess that they're going to let the live-action version of Miles Morales lead that universe going forward. There were a ton of Cinemacon trailers for Spider-Man Brand New Day, Avengers Doomsday, a whole bunch of other stuff. I've tried to do videos for all the really big stuff. Click here for that Avengers Doomsday trailer, and click here for my Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse Cinemacon trailer. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.